Welcome, dear listeners and galaxy explorers. Do you feel which zodiac jumps out of the glass today?
You see our hands in gloves, actually. They didn't fit, but hey, never mind.
Because yes, they fulfill their purpose, being mysterious, tension-building, and shiny. Just like the multiverse. And yes, this video is long, but this is a 1 in a million heart and soul project. Jupiter says there will be no other video like that, so don't stress yourself just because of the length. You don't have to listen to this all at once. You're free to go chapter by chapter just at your own pace and time.
And have you felt it? How is he?
Well, he's sort of wondering why you haven't told your parents if the wedding's off.
Why? No! I'm still hoping for a miracle, I suppose. I mean, how could you think that my father and I would do such a thing?
I only minored in psych, you understand, but maybe Michael couldn't commit to this marriage, so he created a delusion, produced an unconscious psychomatic manifestation of I'm better with food. Okay, you're Michael, you're in a fancy French restaurant. You order creme brulee for dessert. It's beautiful, it's sweet, it's irritatingly perfect. Suddenly, Michael realizes he doesn't want creme brulee. He wants something else.
What does he want?
Jello.
Jello? Why does he want Jello?
Because he's comfortable with Jello. Jello makes him comfortable. I realize compared to creme brulee, it's Jello, but maybe that's what he needs.
I could be Jello.
No. Creme brulee can never be Jello. You could never be Jello.
I have to be Jello.
You're never gonna be Jello. Now you need to come clean with your parents, because if you're waiting for that, if you take this man part, it's considered poor form.
I love him. And whatever delusion I drove Michael to, there's truth at the heart of it. You see, I want him to work for my father. I want to stay in school and I want a life of my own. Please tell him that's my fault and that I love him. You are the only person that I trust.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. Okay, peeps, before we go into it, keep in mind that this is a very general collection. Don't be afraid, don't be mad or sad if the astro typology and the following reading do not resonate with you. This collection is meant for you all, so it's totally okay if some of you do not feel the energies of the cards or the words. At least we are all individuals with an individual set of energies coming from all kinds of sources, but all of them connected, because we are one. I want to ask you to just open the doors of your heart and your mind in order to combine them with your incredible inner light into united, unconditional love. And if it feels right to you, dare to go through that united door.
Always choose love and don't let your fears shade your open doors. Because love is a divine open door shining directly through your heart, ready to accompany you on your own unique path.
Ladies and gents, fasten your seatbelt. Destination, standard information.
Our Scorpio, the non-stop conflict between warmth and hatred. Her time starts on the 24th of October and ends on the 22nd of November. As autumn takes its hold and the leaves begin their descent, our intense Scorpio emerges right after Libra, infusing the season with her mysterious energy. Scorpio leads us to the transformative dance of fall, inviting us to dive deeply into the deeper realms of our emotions. With Scorpio's arrival, the atmosphere becomes charged with a profound sense of introspection. Like the crisp autumn air, Scorpio encourages us to shed what is no longer needed and embrace personal metamorphosis. As the days grow shorter, Scorpio attracts us to explore the shadowy corners of our existence, urging us to confront our fears and emerge stronger. This transformative journey in the season of change mirrors Scorpio's innate ability to embrace the darker aspects of life and emerge renewed. Scorpio's gender is female, and with that, Scorpio embraces the traits tied to emotional depth and empathy. Aligned with a strong feminine energy, Scorpio stands out in comprehending emotions, building meaningful connections on an emotional level, and offering support during tough moments. Additionally, the feminine energy of Scorpio is all about being receptive and in tune with their emotions, intuitions, imagination, and with that, her creativity. Just as flowy as well as stormy and calm emotions can be sometimes, just as fitting is Scorpio's primary color, blue. Her season is autumn, her opposite zodiac sign is our sensitive and protecting Taurus.
Ladies and gents, are you ready to continue with the destination ruler planet?
Scorpio is ruled by her ruler planet Mars and her next ruler planet Pluto. Mars stands for determination and truthfulness. In astrology, Mars is considered the planet of energy, action, desire, and assertion. It is associated with the god of war Mars in Roman or Ares in Greek mythology, and its influence is often linked to qualities such as passion, determination, and assertiveness, which are qualities that do also characterize our Scorpio. Spiritually, Mars is sometimes seen as a force that can be channeled for personal growth and transformation. It represents the inner fire that drives us to pursue our goals, overcome challenges, and assert ourselves in the world. Balancing Mars energy, and this is one of the biggest challenges for our Scorpio, involves finding a healthy expression of one's desires and passions without being consumed by aggression or impulsiveness. And then there's Pluto. And with Pluto, the energies do not get much easier to handle, as Pluto stands for obsession and vindictiveness. But Pluto is also considered a transformative planet. Its influence is associated with profound changes, both internal and external. The energy of Pluto is about breaking down old structures and patterns and allow rebirth and regeneration. Pluto's energy is connected to the unveiling of hidden truths as well. It encourages deep introspection and the exploration of the subconscious mind. It symbolizes the process of bringing buried aspects of the self to the surface for healing and transformation. But with Pluto, we should not forget talking about Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, guardian of souls, and the symbol of wealth. With Hades, Scorpio has the influence of the underworld, which is not only a place of darkness, but also a place of transformation and judgment. Spiritually, both Pluto and Hades symbolize the depth of the human experience, including the exploration of the subconscious, the process of letting go, and the potential for profound transformation. Working with the energy of Pluto may encourage our Scorpios to confront their deepest fears, embrace change, and engage in the continuous cycle of death and rebirth for personal and spiritual growth. And supplementary, Scorpio's element is water. Water stands for analytical thinking, creativity, restlessness, and communication. And this is the very well-fitting addition to the already explained influence of the planets and the female energy Scorpio is being enriched with. The headline of going deep, matches just perfectly with the basic energies coming from the planets, season, element, and gender.
Ladies and gents, next destination, Ascendant.
Until now, we have a lot talked about the basic facts. We have cross-checked the influence of the planets, the gods, the primary color, the season, gender, and the meaning of all that being combined with each other. These facts build the foundation for everything that is now about to come. So let us continue talking about how our Scorpio does also have a big influence on not just her own zodiac sign, but also on others. Because there are other signs of the zodiac, which is ascendant lies in Scorpio. For all those peeps out there whose ascendant is in Scorpio, this means learning to deal with transformation, behavior, and the knowledge of human nature. So let's say your zodiac sign is Leo, then you are probably a very fierce person, constantly driven by passion, power, and great confidence. But with Leos, especially with the older or more experienced Leos, there also comes a big desire of having a strong relationship with his family. Now imagine Leo's ascendant lying in Scorpio. This means an incredibly strong sense of cohesion and protection. Once in the inner circle of a Leo, which is ascendant lies in Scorpio, each member of that hallowed inner circle is protected at all costs and is being regarded as dear and sacred. You can say for sure that the dearest ones of a Leo Scorpio person are better protected than some highly valuable artifacts in any museum. Yes, even without the influence of Scorpio, our Leo would protect his family. But when the influence of Scorpio is being added, then our Leo gets overly protective, clingy, and even envious and possessive if other unknown and untrusted people dare to enter that inner circle. Other than that, a Leo whose ascendant lies in Scorpio also has an even stronger expressive and magnetic presence because Leos are known for their charisma and desire to be in the spotlight. With Scorpio rising, this charisma may take on a more mysterious and magnetic quality. People with this combination often have a captivating and intense presence that draws others in. Leo's passion and Scorpio's determination can also create an individual who pursues their goals with absolute focus. There is a depth of emotion and intensity in their pursuits, making them resilient and powerful.
Ladies and gents, we are going to the stars. Next destination, star constellation and numerology ranking. Scorpio star constellation is 520 light years away from Earth. 1 light year corresponds to 9.46 trillion kilometers. And with that being said, we can all note now that there's just one other sign of the zodiac who is farther away from the Earth, and that is Aquarius for sure, with a distance of 610 light years. Which makes those two not so much down to earth. Together with Pisces, they are the top zodiacs, being the farthest away from Earth, which doesn't really surprise us as those 3 signs are always perceived as crazy and too imaginative. They, after all, have the feeling of belonging somewhere else. Consequently, this distance to Earth is really not surprising at all. The Scorpio star constellation can be sighted in the summer nights and is located at the southern Milky Way. Have fun searching for our Scorpio in the night sky. In the numerology ranking, Scorpio occupies the number 9, the egoism and stubbornness. Ladies and gents, how do you shop? How do you dress? Destination, wardrobe, and money. Our Scorpio's wardrobe is full of harmonious, classical, elegant pieces, and she remains faithful to this style for almost all her life. Her outfits must on the one hand look good, of course, but on the other hand must not constrict her. They cannot stand it to constantly adjust their outfits just because they do non-stop slip into the wrong direction. So classically elegant, yes, but it must be practical. However, it can also happen that some close, fashion-savvy friends encourage our Scorpio to even more color and styling. Our Scorpio then needs her time to adjust to that, as changes are at first always scary to her. But after considering and trying out, she will definitely love it. Sometimes she just needs to be inspired by others, and once found something new that nourishes her imagination and soul, she will forever love it. And that also applies to other topics.
Yup.
Oh, hey Scorpio, wanna share some behind the scenes stories?
Yeah. But when it's about changes, I should admit that this could really get uncomfortable and embarrassing for me. But, I mean, we're here to speak the facts, aren't we?
Yes, we are, dear Scorpio, and it would be amazing to hear everything from you personally. It's so important to give our zodiacs a voice and that they can explain everything from their perspectives. Just tell us something, Scorpio. What is it like to deal with changes and sometimes even realizing that they are worth it at the end? Just like the wardrobe example.
I must say at that point, knowing that some changes are worth it at the end doesn't make it easier for me to deal with them the next time. For me, it's always scary coming out of my comfort zone. I'm always trying to build a structured and for that secure life for myself and my loved ones. And when there is a change, no matter if it's even a chance or even a risk, I get shaky immediately. I feel like I let go of my security and lose control. But I must also admit that I do often have the experience that all ends up well. As a child, this started in a very little extent, like my family members trying to encourage me to eat unknown things, like cucumbers or oranges. I don't know, as a child it was scary trying something new, but especially when it was food related, it was always worth it in the end.
Okay, I believe that immediately. It's so fun trying out new stuff. But what does dealing with changes look like today? I mean, food is probably not your biggest fear anymore.
Yeah, food is really not a problem anymore. On the contrary, today it's more like situations, circumstances that are changing. This really terrifies me. Like having a new job, being in completely new surroundings, meeting new people, having to find your new place now in this new society. Just not knowing what comes next.
Sounds like you are very risk-oriented.
Yes, I am, but I'm even more happy and relieved when I see something ends up well. Like having a job that now enriches my soul, listening to a new song that is not my favorite, trying out a new restaurant that has now got my favorite pizza in town, or giving a newly met person a chance and being lucky to have found a soulmate. These are all examples.
But it's so nice to see that you are not just afraid, but you indeed also try out new stuff and finally got the opportunity to now have something new that makes you happy.
Yeah, that's right. And the more I open up, the more happy new things I find in life.
Yeah, dear listeners, and then it is actually possible to see our Scorpio in unusual creative looks, for which she then receives, and that is just amazing for her, compliments. Which in turn leads to the fact that our Scorpio now has more confidence. However, it must be said that a Scorpio cannot be changed just like that. Scorpio is known for her perseverance, so consequently these close friends must really have a good influence on her for her to try out new things. One must say that the Scorpio must in such a situation have imaginarily allowed these persons to to express themselves. But we will come to the topic of friendship a bit later. And there is also the issue of money, which also plays a major role, because they are permanently in a conflict with themselves, from which they can't get out. On the one hand, they love to spend money, but on the other hand, they can be really stingy. On top of that, they would spend money on themselves, but better not when others are around for whom they might have to pay. Even if it is only about 2 scoops of ice cream, for example, in order to avoid this, Scorpio acts tactically and gives away to someone else. There is just this conflict with which they themselves are often overwhelmed, because on the one hand they know that this is antisocial, but on the other hand Scorpios are master of egoism. No other sign of the zodiac can show such an ice-cold and calculating egoism as the Scorpio does. For Scorpio, you must have earned it, that they would spend their money on you. So just for their closest inner circle, they would spend their money without hesitation. But everyone around that circle is just not worth it.
A little hint, we had to use a different microphone for a short time at this destination, but from the next destinations onwards, the quality should be a bit better. Hopefully.
Ladies and gents, what about the personality? Next destination, personality.
Maybe after the first destinations, you may think now that there are also other signs of the zodiac who can be very selfish. Of course, there are other zodiacs that can be selfish, but with the others, the egoistic actions are at least accompanied by remorse. Or they still think about how they could have handled it a bit more justly. This does not happen with our Scorpio. If in their eyes you didn't deserve those 2 scoops of ice cream, then they simply won't pay for it. They are fully and completely with themselves and look whether their prerequisites are fulfilled. They do not feel any remorse or anything like that. They mostly remain self-righteous. Speaking of justice, Scorpios have an innate sense for justice, but this should be taken with a grain of salt. Scorpios unfortunately tend to fall into self-righteousness and distort the facts. This can be very dangerous for themselves and especially for others. Just like the ice cream example, because in common sense you would say one pays for the group of people they are going out with. In this example, eating ice cream together. But for our Scorpio, common sense doesn't matter to her. What matters is the sum of good and bad behaviors they have observed. And if in the eye of a Scorpio one is not worth of enjoying ice cream, then our Scorpio would never pay, even if common sense or etiquette says so. And here we again have the characteristics of the underworld. Hades, who is always judging the souls which arrive at his doormat. These characteristics do always accompany our Scorpio. And that ice cream example was comparatively harmless. Yes, they have a talent of reading between the lines to recognize facts long before others and to analyze them directly. That's why they are regularly dismissed as strange. Consequently, leaving the power to our Scorpio peeps is not a quite good idea and can result in the beginning of the end. Scorpios absolutely need a counterpart who will bring them back down to earth during their flights of fancy. With Scorpios, you must not be squeamish, otherwise they recognize it as weakness and do not take the person seriously. Of course, this does not suit our Scorpios at first, but they absolutely need this counterpart. This is essential, especially in view of the fact that Scorpios always want to live out their dominance and are extremely possessive. They almost go blind, so that they unfortunately too often do not recognize their limits as well as those of the others, which ultimately leads to excessive exaggerations and to personal border crossings.
Ladies and gents, Now we're visiting your inner circle. Destination, friends and family. But of course, Scorpios also have some bright and good sides. They are very reliable, careful and passionate. They protect their families and chosen loved ones fiercely, whether they want it or not. If others dare to come too close, they become furiously jealous and unrestrainedly show their sting according to the motto,
Look, I have a poisonous sting and I will sting you if you do not leave my loved ones alone right now.
Because of their raging jealousy, they sadly show their sting not only to bad people, but also to their loved ones according to the motto,
You are mine, stay where you are.
You really need to know one thing. If a Scorpio has let other people into her inner circle at some point, right after a kind of trial period, it's for good. No matter if it's a partner or friends or family. Once you get into that circle, consciously or unconsciously, then you are part of their family. This does also apply to love, although there are, you can say, even more brutal in love. However, as we know, Scorpios are very passionate and possessive. To be a member of their family or partner means for Scorpios instinctively to be their property, and they show that. But most of the people don't know that and can't understand Scorpios' jealousy at all. A small example. Other people who otherwise never had to deal with Scorpio's friends approach them. It can be a harmless conversation or just a first attempted approach. The difference doesn't matter to a Scorpio, and from that moment on, there is only one thing matters to the Scorpio.
Stay away from my family.
Now our Scorpio proceeds tactically, and yet you can see in their eyes the raging jealousy as well as the attack mode. The saying, if looks could kill, must have been invented by virtue of the eyes of a Scorpio. In any case, our Scorpio scans the people who approach her family. Language, body language, words, gestures, facial expressions, aura, everything is scanned and analyzed without exception. As we know, our Scorpio has a natural analytical talent. Thus, she quickly recognizes the background of the approaches to her family. In this matter, and you really must hand it to the Scorpio, she usually is right. You could almost say unfortunately, because people are often up to no good, and our Scorpio recognizes this very quickly. As soon as the analysis is finished and the Scorpio is sure about the other people's plans, she will definitely take care to drive away these negative characteristics. Besides all the jealousy, our Scorpio is very loyal to her family and is a pure family guy. She gets along in both small and large families and is taken to heart quite quickly by the relatives because of her warm-heartedness. Once their heart and trust are won, they are absolutely loyal. Ladies and gents, the next chapter is going to be pitch black. Are you ready for that? Destination: the dark matter.
Let us not forget about one thing, because there's also something else. Their insatiable revenge and jealousy. To cheat or to lie to a Scorpio will be a borderline experience for anyone who dares to do it. Of course, lying is just basically a no-go, no matter with whom. But with Scorpio, this is absolutely not a good idea. Scorpios will, if they perceive that they have been wronged, take revenge in any case. Maybe not immediately, but they will take revenge. In doing so, they are patiently observant and persistent. They can wait for day X as long as they have to. Then, when that day arrives, they will take their revenge, no matter at what price. Only their self-righteousness counts then. They live according to their motto, all or nothing. They won't do things halfway, and these things will only work out if they want them to. And with that, passion must never be missing. Otherwise, they simply won't do it. Consequently, you cannot force a Scorpio to do anything. A Scorpio must passionately want to do it, because otherwise he can't raise any energy for it. However, if you don't want to get rid of a Scorpio involuntarily or accidentally, you shouldn't get the idea of depriving her from her domination, or cheat to her, or even, and we had that one before, lie to her. That would be quite stupid, because just a moment ago we have learned that they will take revenge. And since they are persistent and patient, the people who wronged our Scorpio will have forgotten about it by now, but a Scorpio does not forget any unjust situations or behavior and will suddenly stab with her Scorpio sting to take revenge. And this can end in traumatic events, not just for the people involved, but also for Scorpio herself, as she cannot hold herself back and acts cold-bloodedly when that moment of revenge comes.
Ladies and gents, what comes first? Destination, values. Scorpios appreciate good conversations and reliability. Since they are reliable themselves, they automatically expect that quality from others. If the quality of reliability is not based on mutuality, our Scorpio will first get upset but then turns her back. Scorpios like to laugh a lot and have a quirky sense of humor. They do also even enjoy laughing at their own weirdness. This particular type of humor is often not understood by many, so Scorpios are mostly portrayed as loony by those who cannot understand that humor. But the extent to which they have a sense of humor often depends on the circumstances in which they grew up. Scorpio children of Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, Virgo, or Cancer parents often have a strong dark humor, as well as multifaceted gift for language, which is absolutely typical for these zodiac parents. But that is not because those parents try to overpush their children to force them to peak performance. It's absolutely not. It's more about that those parents automatically and in a natural way give their Scorpio children a good portion of levity. This is really enriching for the otherwise so serious Scorpios, because these parents open up a wide variety of horizons for their Scorpio children through their own richness of facets and the ability to view situations from different perspectives. With these gifts, it is fortunately possible for the Scorpios to even laugh over sometimes hard situations and to take the world not too seriously. So a real relief for the soul of our Scorpios. Ladies and gents, what do you do for your living? Destination, career.
Scorpios have difficulties accepting instructions, work instructions which are in their eyes strange, that are not logical and sensible for Scorpios, can regularly bring an employer to his limits of patience. Basically, however, Scorpios love to work, and if they have fun with it, they do really blossom. Just as we said before, when they are passionate about something, then their energy expands endlessly. And if they additionally get along with the rules, They are very reliable workers and colleagues who are liked to be seen and are highly appreciated. As employees, however, Scorpios need employment with a consistent routine. Otherwise, due to their characteristics, of which they are also aware, only management positions are an option for them. They must be able to delegate, which they can do extremely well. They are very disciplined and strict, but because they act equally and fairly, they are ranked as favorite bosses. They ensure clear lines in all areas.
Ladies and gents, now we are talking about your knowledge and your abilities. Are you ready for the next destination? School and talents.
When dealing with Scorpios, you really need to know that they have trouble dealing with change. Change is simply not their thing. They need to understand changes before they can implement it. And for that, they need enough time. This applies to all situations in life and begins already in childhood and is even already recognizable at school times. Because Scorpios belong to their own sorrow and annoyance, not to the pupils who internalize the subject matter immediately. They must rework a lot at home with lots of diligence. But do not misinterpret this. Scorpios are not mentally inferior. On the contrary, they are very intelligent and are often misjudged as well as underestimated because they are sometimes slow in the uptake. They do even shine with a very strong talent for language and communication. And if people take their time to get to know our Scorpio better, they will be positively surprised about this pleasant contemporary with the special aura. Scorpios have a rough voice and warm hands. Speaking of warm, Scorpios are known for their body heat. You can truly warm up on them. Friends, partners, everyone closely around them is happy to have this practical heater. Nothing is nicer than a warming partner. Of course, Scorpios cannot only warm others, they have got different talents. Creativity stands out with the Scorpios in different areas. They like to draw and paint, play instruments like clarinet, harp, or piano, and are usually very good musical singers and actors. However, Scorpios are also extremely active in social and volunteer work. So you will find many Scorpios among environmentalists and animal rights activists. Scorpios do not like to advertise their charity work, so that their voluntary work is only visible to some people after a closer look. They are also talented in the kitchen. They like to cook and they cook very well. They love hearty meals from different countries and they try out everything and like to refine existing meals until it is perfect. They love to barbecue and they love to do it together with their family and friends. Without further ado, they set up the grill, let everyone know and get started. But here, it's not exclusively about meat. Our Scorpio is a lot more colorful with barbecuing, literally. She also puts different kinds of vegetables together with herbs and individual marinades on the grill and enjoys all of that in connection with the created atmosphere. But they also love cakes, especially chocolate cream cakes. She is really taken with it. And if the cake supply at home is just used up, they'll be homemade. And that, of course, also pleases their loved ones.
Ladies and gents, how do you spend your me time? Destination, vacation. As far as the variety on vacation is concerned with our Scorpio, you can prepare for enjoying action. They just want to have a good time on vacation. An adventure vacation on the Mediterranean Sea brings a lot of fun to the Scorpios. Here they can let off steam. Of course, it may go on afterwards also in a more relaxed way, so that several destinations in one vacation are not unusual. First, let off steam and then relax. But it shouldn't be stressful at all. That drives them crazy, which leads them to bring a bad mood, and that they do not desire at all. Scorpios are also ready for short trips or city tours, very much in connection with musical visits. They enjoy all Disney musicals, for example. In this world, they can dive into their inner childishness and just dream. But they also like all the musicals like Grease or West Side Story. Furthermore, they appreciate jazz and rockabilly music and like to accompany you to a cult jazz, vintage or tango bar. What is kitschy for others is an absolute cult for Scorpios, which they love to live out. Scorpios are known for their inner child and usually keep it for life. From the outside, Scorpios are therefore very often unfairly labeled as childish. They struggle with this throughout their lives. In real life, their childlike existence is often denied, which is why they cherish imaginative fairy tale worlds all the more. It is important to know that Scorpios perceive the environment very differently. They immediately feel when energies change, which also has an immediate effect on their mind. You could even say that for our Scorpios, the fairy tale worlds represent a small oasis of relaxation. Ladies and gents, is your heart talking to you? Destination, love. Ladies and gentlemen of the Scorpio zodiac sign, let us make this destination a bit flowery and maybe touch your dark humor a little bit, your childish soul maybe. So let's make it flowery. In matters of partnership and love, our Scorpios get along with their peers. So Scorpios, but also Capricorn, Taurus and Cancer. These zodiac signs also have this childlike, dreamy being which they, just like the Scorpios, can't always bring out openly. Capricorn and Taurus give Scorpios support, reliability, security, and safety, while Cancer also brings a good portion of exuberant passion, communication skills, and an innate love for adventure and traveling. All in all, these zodiac signs cannot do without these qualities. None of these zodiac signs will engage in a partnership, Jess is laughing, without these given qualities. And when these connections have found each other, they are permanently and enduring. So I have to look for Jazz because she is laughing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I try to continue. Jazz is laughing anyway, so I try to focus. Now I focus. Scorpio, are you with me? I hope you love that. I hope this is your humor. My humor is it. It's obviously it's Jazz's humor too. So I try to focus and continue. So we have Leo and Libra. Leo and Libra. Leo and Libra can also be good choices for Scorpio. Absolute perfection, strong sense of justice, don't laugh, and directness. Can be exhausting for everyone at times, but overall, this is exactly the supporting foundation of these connections. Ladies and gents, a treasure trove full of crazy, good, and kind people. Destination, friendship.
In terms of friendship, Scorpios appreciate their own comrades, the Scorpios, as well as Leo and Libra. These same zodiac signs simply understand each other among themselves and allow everyone to be as they are, just because they know their own idiosyncrasies so well. They are the only ones who never or hardly find fault with the others. They just know how they are. Leo and Libra are very similar to the Scorpio characteristics, so that here constant high-level friendships are made which can actually last a lifetime. There can, of course, be a lot of friction between them, but they are mercilessly honest with each other and can bring disagreements to an end very quickly and solve them without being resentful. And even if there was a clash, they would never let each other down or break a given word. This straightforwardness and honesty under these zodiac sign friendship constellations is their very important and strong foundation. Love and friendships between Scorpios and Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries, or Virgo are hard to come by. Scorpios can put up with these for a while, but lasting friendships or love relationships are unlikely to happen among these zodiac signs. These four are far too wild and unreliable for Scorpios. Their lifestyle seems suspicious and opaque to Scorpio. For the four freedom-loving zodiac signs, Scorpio is also much too demanding and possessive, so they will rather avoid each other in the overall picture. But as always, exceptions confirm the rule. At least we are all individuals.
Señoras y señores, el destino último de celebridades.
¡Ay! And finally, we have some famous Scorpio-born people for you. And I'm sorry if I do not pronounce all the names correctly, but I try my best. Let us start with Joaquin Phoenix, Taron Egerton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Mark Ruffalo, Martin Scorsese, Tilda Swinton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jodie Foster, Joe Biden, Claude Monet, Julia Roberts, Anne Hathaway, Martin Luther, Astrid Lindgren, Hillary Clinton, Gerald Butler, Scarlett Johansson, James Cook, Theodore Roosevelt, Indira Gandhi, Jimmy Kimmel, Marie Antoinette, Matthew McConaughey, Pablo Picasso, Marie Curie, Ryan Gosling, Bill Gates, Owen Wilson, Christopher Columbus, and Voltaire.
And of course, many, many more.
And of course, many, many more.
Before we move forward, I want to ask you to set the intention to connect to the cards with your open heart, your intuition, and your beautiful inner light. Now put your attention fully to the brightness of your unique light, doesn't matter which color it has, and bring your wonderful light right into your open heart so that you're able to feel the sensation of unconditional love. First of all, the cards were a little, stubborn. It was like they didn't want to be shuffled. So I was curious about which cards will come up. And as I see the picture, I understood why these kinds of dense energies came up. So for me, it seems as if you had to learn and reflect your behavior towards people and your relationships. Because the descendant is representing the others. Maybe you had a hard time to reflect properly and honestly, and setting right and especially healthy boundaries. It can be that you also struggled to seek any kind of help, but you hopefully did. Hopefully, because it might be a need to be honest with yourself, so you have the chance to get honest help as well. Because it seems as if the hard times continue for you, as the driving water energies are coming from Neptune and its god Poseidon. But you have also the chance to seek support directly from Poseidon, to let yourself flow with the water energies, learn to surrender, to relax, and by that to find your essence, which you hopefully do, because you have to be careful with the driving water energies. Otherwise, it can bring you obsession and self-destruction. Remember, what water can heal, but it can also destroy. The Neptune card seems to be a reminder directly into your conscious awareness. For me, it looks like you will have much more work to do for your inner healing. You are a Scorpio anyways, and Pluto is your next ruler planet anyways too. The upcoming Pluto card could be an urgent reminder for you to take responsibility and be careful in order not to destroy everything and any kind of relationships, just because of dense energies coming up from a double trouble influence by Pluto and its god Hades, the god of the underworld, the world of the dead, and the death of the earth. It seems as if this is also a reminder for you to dig deep within yourself without getting obsessive or destructive, to overcome any upcoming dense energies, how to retreat for the higher good and rebirth in any healthy way. And by doing so, you might have the great opportunity to be an inspiration for your surroundings and yourself. Now, by looking at the starseed card, you can clearly see the big picture, which is for me completed now. The immense work you did and the lessons you have probably learned since the past are now becoming a great tool to use properly and gently in your future life. After all, this intense, hard inner and outer work, the Arcturians are now calling you to heal in any way possible, to eat healthy food, to meditate, and not to hesitate to seek help from professionals even. Because sometimes when we are in the middle of hard times, our surroundings seem steamy or behind curtains. But in order to vitalize your body and feel energized again, it seems to be a need to bring yourself especially inner peace, love, growth, and fulfillment. And by that, to shift your conscious awareness with the incredible strength of light. Just trust your body, its knowledge and language. Just trust.
You say there's nothing here, well let's make something clear. I think I'll be the one to make that call.
What's your call?
I know you look so cute in your polyester suit.
It's cool.
You're right, I'd never fall for you at all. And maybe this appeals to someone not in heels, or to any girl who feels there's some chance for romance. But I'm frankly feeling nothing.
Is that so?
Or it could be less than nothing.
Good to know, so you agree.
That's right. What a waste of a lovely night. So, we hope we could give you not just a marathon, but also an overall collective and detailed insight into the many worlds of our today's zodiac. And we're glad that you were with us until the very, very end. And the fact that you took your time to connect and to be with us on this whole journey today really means a lot to us.
And naturally, you are very welcome to leave your thoughts and intuitions, or if you like, even your emotions in the comment section. This all, and to see where you are all coming from, is for us very fascinating to know. Where are my Astro Soul peeps?
And do not forget, if life gives you lemons,
be creative, do something good for your heart, your soul, and your body. Be your own alchemist.
And make a lemon cheesecake.
You said it.